Once again, ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home, wherever you are, it's another third Sunday in the month of June, which we all know is a Father's Day worldwide. And I'm back again bringing to you your doorsteps and everywhere you find yourself, making fathers out of men. And today, on our special biggest episode that we do every year, I have one big personality that is charisma. I love it so much personally. And I'm excited to be part of this particular interview on this particular day of Father's Day. His message for the nation is going to come up here. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, join me to welcome right here with me on TV, wherever you're seated, the ex-president, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, today as we come to go through him to have the message of making fathers out of men. I'll be with you soon. Thank you. All right, welcome once again, Your Excellency. May I please take officially to welcome you to TV Africa. This year we're doing what we call making fathers out of men. We'd like to ask from your own perspective, who is a father from your angle?
You couldn't have chosen a better way of putting it. I'm impressed. Making fathers out of men. Any man can conceive a woman, but not many of those men can become or have become responsible fathers. And as a result of being that irresponsible, conceiving and not being able to provide for, or rather to help the mother in bringing up the child, a lot of those children become liabilities, not only for the family, for the society, for the nation. It contributes to underdevelopment. Be strong for the family. Be there. Be a friend to the child, to the children. Then I'll say you're becoming a true father, a real father. If you're not prepared to be a father and a responsible one of that, you're going to create a problem for the family, for the woman, for all of us.
So how do you see fatherhood in Ghana? With what you said now, because we have a lot of
people
walking without fathers, with no authority, with nothing. So how do you see fatherhood in Ghana?
A good number of us have not performed properly, and we've left most of the burden on the mothers, on women. We must always step back and salute the role of womanhood of women, because they've borne the brunt of it. We've had too many children without accidentally or in seeking pleasure, in succumbing to the weakness of our sexual urge. We've ended up having children or conceiving women without planning for it.
That's right.
That's not good. That's not the way God intended it to be.
That's true.
Don't go and create a life when you're going to defame, when you're going to hurt the dignity of that spiritual being.
Wow.
And no matter how often we talk about it, some of us just cannot wake up to the fact that don't have children by accident. It's not right. I'm sorry, we're on TV. I would have used some words, I guess. I don't want to start apologizing again. But
I know. I know how you're feeling, because I see the pain from where you're coming from.
You're abusing You're abusing one of the finest creations of nature, of God. The developed countries have done it. We are failing and suffering for it. So we are all trooping to go to their country. Why wouldn't they dislike us? Even though they've indirectly contributed to our circumstances in the past as well as into the present. Through bad deals, corrupt activities, in connivance with some of our own people. The hardship we've created, But nonetheless, I'm saying that the first weakness is the personal internal one.
Thank you.
That we could not resist the temptation not to do it correctly.
Thank you. Could it be that maybe we've allowed men who have, like you said, by their own taste and desire, entered into this thing with all the excuses? We've not given them the right punishment that they deserve, or we've allowed, the laws have even allowed them to just be. So we have children not growing the way we want them to be. Could we blame ourselves for it, or the laws for it, or we've not done the right thing?
I think it's a bit of all the points you've made. You know, they're all contributory factors because there are places where the law could have bitten hard, you know, the society to shun things like that. In the old days, before you had universities, before you had colleges, before you even had schools, our ancestors knew about family planning.
That's true.
In my tribe.
That's true.
You were not even required to have another one till the last one is about 5 years
That's
old.
true.
Even as we got colonized, by that white man, you dare not, as a black man, have more than 2 children if you can't afford it.
Wow.
It will affect your promotion. It will affect so many things about you at your workplace. That's why one of the finest men I met, Mr. Nathan Kwao, may his soul rest in peace, a great asset he was, had, I believe, only 2 children.
Wow.
He could have had more. Fantastic man. And there he sat me down and was telling me about the old days. I'm saying, today we have all these universities, etc., etc., and yet we're being so irresponsible when it comes to a situation like this. How can the so I mean, before we got colonized, how can that colonial master, this is commonsensical.
Wow.
Because where are the children going to sleep when you have only one room or what you call it? No planning, you can't look after them, and yet you're doing producing. So. How are you going to be able to feed them properly?
Well, the NGOs are coming up and they see a lot of government, supports coming. So now people, they have health insurance, they have free delivery. So they think all these things is adding up to it. So should we just blame just the church? Or we should blame our institutions? Because from what you're saying, the normal way of living at home was a good way of taking us to be more disciplined. Now we have universities, we have graduates, we have a lot of institutions. So why are we now failing ourselves? Is it that the charity is no more beginning at home? Or what is it?
Both at home and I think educational institutions as well. Thank God this did not apply to Ghana. When I was invited after I left school to go, be an advocate for healthy living to prevent AIDS, to cut out AIDS and things like that. In some countries, the teacher population had been so badly hit who had died from AIDS.
Wow.
Oh yeah, in one particular country too, so many of the pilots had also died from HIV.
Wow.
It's a wonder that we're still around in spite of AIDS, But I'm saying that at that point in time, to wake up to the fact that teachers who are supposed to be imparting a sense of responsibility and discipline to us should be dying in such huge numbers from AIDS, something must have gone wrong, So it was an awakening that hurt me, deep down. When I took up this campaign against AIDS in my own country, in my time, I was doing it together with family planning.
Wow.
I never promised planes or, fancy things. I was demanding from our people, that we conduct ourselves in a very responsible manner, no matter what we do. Let's apply ourselves to the best of our abilities, etc., etc., etc. I never thought we would achieve anything in terms of people waking up to the importance of family planning. I never thought it could happen in my lifetime. Nonetheless, we're doing what we could, introducing the appropriate inoculations, etc., etc., etc. Oh, 31st. I mean, I'll give praise to Nana so much.
That's good.
For the efforts you made.
Right.
During one of our campaigns, and there again, when you look back at it, the difficulty some of them would have with trying to contain the number of children is that some were using the numbers for political power, political purpose. You're correct. When you have so many of your tribal people, invariably the DC or whatever it is may be coming from your people.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Okay.
Otherwise, So some didn't see any point.
Okay.
And if you're not going to The others also want political power. Why should they also control the size of their families? Okay. But nonetheless, I was still continuing because I wanted us to wake up to how much more we could have at our disposal. You know, if we did the right thing, if we conducted ourselves, there'll be so much more money to provide a lot more for the students at schools. There'll be the overflow to provide water, to provide this, that clinic, etc., repair our roads. You know what? During one of the campaigns, after I'd finished talking, in those days, we invite anybody who wants to say their piece. And this woman got on the stage. It was in Upper West, a Muslim lady. And when she opened her mouth, she said, thank God to blah, 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 the facility government was providing, etc. Now we don't have to have 6, 7, 8, 9 children for fear some would die. Now we can have 2 and 3.
Okay.
And bring them up well.
Okay.
I never thought I would hear this. I mean, it felt so good.
That's right.
By the time I got to another area, another region, the opposition leader, he was campaigning for Mumuba, 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 Mumuba. I thought, Jesus Christ, I've done half the work for you. Something both sides we should all be doing, advocating and preaching. You know, one of the fundamental irresponsible patterns of behavior that undermines development anywhere. Otherwise, why would the developed countries take family planning so seriously?
That's true.
Or say Munguba. Oh, now, then you wake up to the fact that he wants the numerical strength on their side for political power.
Oh my God.
Then I am. Is this right?
I get it.
Is this right?
Wow.
An educated man.
Wow. Well, thank God those who are going to listen to you moved in. And I think now family planning, although has its own challenges, going well. But back again to a very deep story from you. With all these things, we had you as our president, with all the initiative, communal labor, you are there, clean. My question here is that being the president and the father, we have so many excuses now. People are not being responsible because of their work. How did you do it as a father and still leading a nation?
Thank God for Nana, my wife. She's been one of our greatest assets in the home.
Wow.
I didn't really have that much time for the children. And in spite of the fact that she was crisscrossing the country, probably more often than I did, Nana still found the time and the opportunity to hold and guide these children well.
Wow.
In the beginning, I tended to avoid being that close to them. I did not want that emotional bondage connection with them for fear that, if something happened and I lost my life, if I died, to affect them to that extent. I didn't want the shock effect of them. So I deliberately sort of kept away from them, from expressing that kind of love that I felt, I needed, I wanted to offer the children. But as things stabilized, it then became safe enough to, relate to them. I will always step back for Nana. She did a lot.
That's a very good one. I mean, you have a husband always stepping up for the wife like that. It tells you that the wife was very, very, very supportive.
Do you have a wife?
I have a wife.
How many
a very
children?
Beautiful one. For now, I have 3, and I think I'm
How old are they?
My firstborn is 6 years yesterday.
Firstborn, 6?
Yes.
I hear you don't hold women in high regard. Is that true?
I hold them in high regard, but it's just like your statement. I want them to, position themselves against this indiscriminate disposal of sperms from men for them to suffer. So we also want to empower them to say no when they are also not ready. And that is where Ghanaians might not be getting where I'm coming from. So I hold women in high regards, and I believe that when we position women very well, we'll end up having them positioning men. Right now, all your statement is Nana, Nana, Nana. It means when a woman is well empowered, we'll have men being okay in life. I also heard that when soldiers like your type, very regimental, their homes become a fearful place. So being a soldier then, was your house a very fearful place?
The fearful factor is something I detest, I resent. Yeah, I have a funny image in that respect,
Okay.
but that is not the case with me, because fear degenerates into hate. It creates insecurity in its own way. I don't like that. Okay. I prefer love. I prefer national patriotism. I prefer to deal with respect. You see what I mean?
Wow.
These are better values. That's why many years ago, when I was invited to come and give a talk in a church house, I got up and I said I had no fear of God. And the whole church house was so quiet and shocked, I think. And in my next sentence, I said, because I love God. But in order to bring it down to our level, I had to ask them a question, the men, would you be happier if you were loved and respected by your wife, or would you rather live with a wife and a family that was fearful of you?
Wow.
One of the finest mothers I have personally come across is Zaneto.
Wow.
I noticed it in Ireland, in my meeting with the children, in her conversations with them, when some of them, misbehave, the manner in which she reproaches or rebukes them. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
In our time, that's a way of bringing up children without instilling so much fear
in them.
them.
So your children, those of you who think that children of His Excellency were so afraid of him because he was a strict man, man of discipline, he says no.
Discipline, yes.
So you are disciplined.
Oh, please,
but
all of us.
Not afraid of you.
Okay? And as you impart this discipline to the older one, and she gets the drift.
That's it.
By the time the other one comes, your burden of bringing up that one is reduced because she also contributes to bringing up the other one, and then all the way down.
My final lapse of my section of questions to you. So in all this, it means that the act of discipline has gone down not too well in this country. Because I remember when I joined to become a peer educator for HIV/AIDS, then in 1999, one of the challenges that came up was simple, that www.com, you will die when you get HIV/AIDS. And I think that particular ad brought a lot of discipline in our lives. Today, it's become a free world of everybody take care of your life. You spoke about the church. You spoke about fathers. I want to ask my last lapse of questioning then. What is your message on this Father's Day for fathers and children in Ghana?
No, being a father, the honor, the privilege, the opportunity, is not something we should take lightly. As I was saying earlier on, because you're not dealing with a toy. You're dealing with flesh and blood. You're dealing with a spiritual being.
That's true.
Having said so, I may not have congratulated fathers enough, the responsible ones. There are not enough words, because they are the ones who have provided the assets in our communities.
That's true.
For the nation.
That's true.
And the irresponsible ones are the ones who have created liabilities for us that we're burdened with today.
That's true.
And if we do not start making the effort from today, from yesterday, we will become the poorer for it.
Wow.
It will continue to undermine the development program of our country. Please. So there's a family planning. Directly, you're talking about fatherhood, responsible fatherhood.
Thank you.
We can make all kinds of mistakes. Oh, the type that you can take your gum, as we used to call it in those days, or the rubber eraser. You can, on a ship, if something went wrong, you could be floating.
That's true.
Or on a car, something goes wrong, you park by the wayside.
That's true.
But the same thing cannot happen when you're in the air. Yeah, I mean, you're going to crash land if you don't find an appropriate place. Yeah. You don't have a second chance, or your second chances are very limited.
Okay.
And I'm saying that, to want to conceive, as we're saying, to want to have a child is something that has to be purposeful. It's something you must prepare for. It's something you must plan for. Bringing up that child responsibly to be an asset will do you so much good someday.
True. That's true.
When you retire, you resign in your old age.
That's true.
He'll be an asset to your community, an asset to your nation.
That's true.
And it's the exact opposite that will happen if you do not. Think about if you go ahead and bring up a child or you neglect a child and leave all the burden to the mother. It's just not good enough.
Thank you.
Indeed, we're dealing with a spiritual being. We're dealing with something that is supposed to be a reflection of God. Indeed, Nyankopon did not give you anything. So when you go and defile, and the girl also gets pregnant, no. Your indiscipline, your irresponsibility is what brought it about. Okay? That is not to say that life is in there, waiting in our being. It only takes two connections to create it. Okay? And with such ease, and the pleasure that goes with it. But that is no reason not to resist it, to think about it, to prepare for it.
Thank you. That's a word.
You know? Otherwise, you destroy a life. You destroy your own, but invariably because we don't carry it here, and we're not the women, the mothers, with that emotional attachment. Some of us, and we know we can just walk away.
That's true.
And just move on.
That's what we're doing.
And go and do another one.
Yes.
We don't do well. That will not do. That sort of nonsense must stop.
Stop. I like that.
The society must, we must feel ashamed.
That's it.
But somehow or the other, we get away with it, and there's no shame in it. And then it has contributed to our hardships, to our underdevelopment, etc. No. So we get up and we're dying, swimming across the Mediterranean, going to the white. You think the white man wasn't like us? He used to do it too, and he woke up to it. We can see it.
Wake up.
Today, he has made savings and he's using it for development. He has a fine country. He has enough space to breathe and love. You see what I mean? His environment.
Yeah.
Yet, dear, we have no space. We have no environment because we've made more than we can care for, than we can take. So they're falling by the wayside, and they're looking for. They're going through the hardships of trying to fend for themselves, for existence, and now they're trying to, move out of Africa, out of our continent. You think those white people will be happy with us?
No way.
We're going to face more discrimination. We're going to face more, inappropriate behavior towards us, towards our skin, towards, who we are. That is not to say that they did not contribute to what we are. But the point is that we cannot allow this irresponsibility to continue.
So this nonsense must stop.
This nonsense must stop. I feel when they're trying to block us and say, go back to your continent, we are forcing our way. Well, let's come and take the basic steps of what needs to be done.
That's right.
That's right. I was saying earlier that even in the colonial days, if you have more children than you can look after, it can affect you in your government work. How many of us bother about these things these days?
No way.
When sometimes we bring up our children irresponsibly, teachers want to discipline them, we move to the school to go and
beat the teacher.
Go and beat up teachers. We should be arrested and dealt with.
Wow.
Wow. And when sometimes these poor women try to complain about this kind of behavior, then we violate them.
Wow.
Thank God we have police stations, but sometimes they also don't act fast enough. Some of us deserve to be dealt with.
That's what I'm saying. The laws that are too loose. Maybe that's why you have one man who have more than 10 children from 10 women, and he's not paying for anybody's fees.
Yes.
And that's what we're also saying, that then we should put power in the hands of women so that, like family planning, His Excellency is saying, will stand very, very well. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you have time?
I have time for you.
I want you to meet some of our staff.
But Your Excellency says that the pain that you go through is Father's Day, and regularly, anytime there's Father's Day, we keep talking about fathers. It's said in Ghana that Mother's Day are more celebrated than Father's Day, and you are aware. Even when you're looking for sponsorship, you don't get it. No sponsorship. You don't get it. But I think that, like His Excellency is saying, this nonsense must stop. It's a very good word. And we'll hashtag it from now. Father's Day, this nonsense must stop. I think I put it on my timeline that every man who has produced a child and is not taking care of it should be punished by God not to have the opportunity to produce again. But like he said, Babs, what is your take? I mean, in a nutshell, what's your take on this irresponsibility of men? On who should we put this on? Should we put it on the women or put it on the men?
I believe it's both the woman and the man's responsibility. Family planning is both ways. A woman should get to decide how many children she is to bear, and must not be coerced into any situation that would just allow her to breed, without restraint. Mothers are more celebrated than fathers. Why? As a mother, you carry this child physically, emotionally, psychologically, in every way possible. You carry your child. Unlike a father who is detached from that physical bonding and emotional bonding, a mother cannot look at their child go hungry, for example. A mother can't look at their child sent back from school for lack of school fees. A mother will do whatever she has to do in order to take care of her child. And that bond and that responsibility she feels towards that child never ends. It never stops. Your child may turn out to be wayward, but you'll always be there. Your child may end up in a police station, you will still be there. You'll be the first one to arrive. At an accident scene, you're the first. At the hospital, you're the first. So if fathers could emulate this type of, bond and with their children and be a bit more responsible towards them and, participate in their lives in every possible way, not just pay the school fees, not just provide money, and then go off, play with your friends, but be there. Take your time, do homework with your children. You have male children, take the time to raise them into men. Even yourself as a man, develop yourself. Don't get to the point where you say, oh, this is who I am, this is what I am. As for me, I'm like this. The onus is on us to develop all the time. So if a man recognizes that he needs to be developing constantly, you can ask His Excellency. He's constantly developing himself. He's looking in a dictionary every day. And I don't remember the last time I saw a man pick up a dictionary to check out a word, So he is aware that he needs to constantly develop. You should see the way he handles his grandchildren. He was talking about Zanetto's children just before. But you should see the way he deals with them. You would wish every man could do that. Wow. Even to their children, let alone the grandchildren. So I think for Father's Day, I would just appeal to men. It's never too late to start to do the right thing. Wherever your children are, those that are known and those that are not known, whatever you need to do, just go out there, reach out, and do the right thing. Raise them, spend time with them. Let them know, they belong to you. And we say in Ghana, God will do the rest. If you so believe, then God will do the rest. But you must start. You must make the first move.
Do you think that with all the things you said, I listened to it calmly, and my own is that it's as if this statement is what is helping the men to misbehave. Because no woman has taken any man on. They struggle to do the thing alone, and when the children grow, they look for their fathers. So don't you think we should rather bring stiffer punishment? Will women rather advocate for stiffer punishment for men? Or what do you think? You don't want that one to be the same?
In our traditional setting, we are raised not to insult people. So, especially men, You cannot insult the ego of a man. You can't insult the father of your child. So no matter how awful you try to paint the father to the child still has that inherent need for the father and the father's participation in their life. So the child will give you a long rope, as we say, and will look for you and give you that last chance that look me in the face and tell me you don't feel anything for me. A child will come and want to have that closure with you. So as mothers, we tend, when we think about it, we try not to insult the fathers too much. And that's probably where they do get away with it. But at the end of the day, you don't want to create hatred in your child for another human being. You're trying to teach your child, to grow up as a decent person. Why would you, at that stage now, try and teach your child to hate his father? So maybe it's you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, but...
His Excellency should say something. So what do you have to say? You want to wish some fathers a happy Father's Day, or you have a message for them. As for the hashtag, this nonsense must stop with men, I'm going to follow the hashtag. There's too much indiscipline for that one, I know. What's your message?
My message is to mothers, rather. We have constantly prepared our girls to be good mothers and to be good wives, but as a society we have failed in preparing our boys to be fathers or to even be men. A lot of boys in Ghana cannot fend for themselves. They get married at an early age, not necessarily because they're ready for marriage, but they need someone to babysit them, someone to wash, to clean, and to take over the responsibilities their mothers used to do for them. So then it's just a redundant cycle. But if we are going to teach our daughters, our women, how to wake up early in the morning, to clean, to cook, to do all these things, to provide, then we need to let men have a consciousness about the fact that they ought to do the same. His Excellency tells you about how he was best placed to perform his role and his wife was able to do same because they complemented each other. He tries to downplay his role and the things he did, but you should hear his children and his wife talk about how he is hands-on. A father who is ready to teach his children how to defend themselves, how to be honest, how to ride a bike or even fly a plane. A president who has time to teach his children how to fly is one that is hands-on. So then it goes back to being close to your parents. I come from a broken home, but my father insists on having a say in the things I do. He might not necessarily have the family setting he would desire, but he still has a voice in it. It doesn't matter the kind of family you're coming from or the kind of family children are exposed to. If there are failings, it's because individuals lack the interest to do so. So if you're going to train a girl to be an exceptional mother, you owe it to those daughters or those girls you're going to marry to train the boys to be exceptional husbands and fathers. That is where there will be actual change. I think going back to sanctions and whatnot, they don't work. They don't work. It just creates a cycle of anger, a cycle of hatred. But then when there's a social consciousness, that's where the religious bodies come in. Why is it that when it's counseling time and we are preparing people for marriage, we dedicate time to teaching women to be good wives, clean for your husband, do this for your husband, don't shout at your husband. But nobody tells the husband, don't hit your wife. Her eyes are made to see, not to be boxing, Do you get it? If you're going to counsel women on being good wives, you need to counsel men on being good husbands and being fathers as well. So I think on Father's Day, we need to, as His Excellency has said, celebrate the exceptional fathers and then give the rest a wake-up call. Don't have children you're not ready to take care of. We are in no rush. As far as you're a normal man, you're capable of having, on the average, 50 children.
That's true.
You are not in competition with anyone. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. And if you give birth to a child you can't take care of, it's a curse on you.
That's true.
God won't forgive you.
That's true.
Because God wants children to be raised with honor, with dignity,
That's
with
right.
discipline. Because whatever the child turns out to be, majority of it is dependent on the parents they have.
That's true.
I've been told a million times I'm a direct replica of my mother.
That's true.
It irritates me, but it's true. No, it's true. Children complain about their parents, but then deep down inside, majority of what they become is a reflection of their parents.
true.
So would you be happy to have a reflection of yourself tomorrow? Imagine having 10 reflections of you and they don't even have any positive input. You failed as an individual and you've created 10 individuals who are going to further create other individuals who feel like you.
Boy.
So you see the redundant cycle. So any religious body or any mother out there, if you're going to teach your girls to cook, let your boy also know how to
Learn how
cook.
to cook.
Because when the mothers die, the fathers must step up. When the mothers travel, the fathers must step up.
Wow.
If you're going to teach the girls to clean, teach the boys to clean.
Wow.
If you're going to teach any life skill, let it be shared.
Wow.
We shouldn't create a dichotomy between
Wow.
the two, because that's where the psychological preparation for
Wow.
you are the mother begins from.
That's
And
true.
then it's a mejuma mema die onkwa mukase.
I get it.
That is where that psychological preparation comes from. So let's have a change in that.
Sorry.
And thank you for your time.
You see, Your Excellency is so right that we're having this in-depth knowledge of Bob and Ellie, having this good, this is coming from women. He knows those he's working with. And this is a good spice to what we've been discussing. But I think it boils down to one thing, planning. It's not the indiscriminate disposal of your spermatozoa that makes you a man, but making fathers out of men. I remember when doing, menstruation, both of us in the class were taught. Those of us who went to Form 4 living and then there was no life skills that was taught to women and men. It was the whole class. If it's sewing, boys will do. If it's cooking, boys. It is the current generation and the current education that is making women feel what men can do, they cannot do. But it's been a fruitful time. He's been very, very educated with Your Excellency here. And when he's been able to wish all fathers who are doing well happy, and those who are, he said those who are not doing well, they should step up their game. Maybe this is the first time I will say that on behalf, because I don't say step up their game. I'm changing gradually, but the hashtag still stand. This nonsense of not taking care of your children as a father must stop. Well, we came not empty-handed. We came to also wish His Excellency a happy Father's Day, and I have a lot of gifts here for him. I mean, it's my fathers. Your Excellency, this is an African wear from a young man who was an artist, and all of a sudden decided to start doing African wear. An artist, but this is what he decided to. He's a graphic designer, but this is what he decided to do. So he said, well, he's not meant you to measure you, but he decided to get something like this, well African design for you. It's called Fashion the Afrique.
This is nice, but tell him to make it 4 extra large. Okay?
4 extra
large.
We'll do that. We'll do it for you because
I will let him have this one, so I'll keep it until.
All right, so we have 2 for you. We'll do all for you. We'll do 4 extra large. This is the same thing from the young man. And then,
okay.
And the young man too.
Actually, maybe you should bring him to take my measurement.
He's here. I came with him, so he will do it. And this is coming from Mr. Young. Is also he says he sees you love long boots.
Ah, true. Oh. Hey, do you know what it means to have long boots like that?
No, unless you tell me.
Oh, I see. Let me see yours.
It's not really long. But if you tell me, I'll learn.
What
does
are
it
those
take?
Pink socks from? Oh, actually, your whole being is pink, actually. I did have a
Yeah, this from Mr. Young.
Who is he?
He deals in shoes on Odorice, and he says once we are coming to your end, he's pushing us to make fathers out of men.
Odorice.
Odorice building in Circle. That's where the shop. But the name of the shop is called Mr. Young.
Does he deal in rice as well?
No, he's in a rice building, but he deals in shoes and clothing.
Rice building?
Yes. There's a rice building in Accra.
What is rice building?
They cook rice.
Oh, he cooks rice?
No, he's in a building where they cook rice. So, in Ghana, the only way to give your shop direction is to give the popular direction close. So the rice is more popular than the shoe area. So we do that.
All right.
So he says we should bring you this footwear.
I'd like to meet him sometime.
I'll give you his contact.
Nice.
I'll bring him to you. He can supply all your shoes. Because he says he sees you love long book. So
Oh,
this
yes,
is
very much
this
so.
is for you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun all along, and it is to celebrate His Excellency Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. He's been my mentor quietly in the place. I like his charisma. And those of you who don't think, today it's been nice meeting you. I mean, it's been fruitful to have this discussion with you.
Thank you.
I wish I'll come once again to come and do a live diary, not on Father's Day. I'll come and do a live diary because when Ellie was speaking, he was saying some things you didn't tell me. So I'll come and go under the skin. Let's get that disciplinary thing for us to go. Okay. But it's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank
you so much. It's been a bigger pleasure.
Thank you.
And Ghana, this is your president. I mean, His Excellency, flights.
Former.
Okay.
Before one like that.
So, His Excellency, former President Jerry John Rawlings, the fair-colored president. I mean, so far after your term, we've not got any fair-colored president again, like you said. I'm dark like that. So it's fine. And before I leave with you, what has been the secret in keeping your shape? Because you've been like this for us to see everything.
My friend, don't bring yourself. Look at this big barrel in front of me. I'm telling me I've kept my shape.
Oh, so you didn't want this?
Oh, I used to have an 8-pack.
Wow.
People normally have 6-packs.
But you had 8.
Go and look it up when I was working on the railway lines with,
I have those
with the
pictures.
liverers. Go check it out. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
8
packs.
4 here, 4 here.
I'm telling you,
Okay,
man.
then those of us doing 6, we are just deceiving ourselves.
You don't count.
But will you one day see you as a preacher, man? Because I heard you say one day you want to be a preacher. Will you one day see His Excellency in a clerical as a pastor one day?
I don't know. Because when I imagine that somebody annoy me, I'm trying to find them. Can you imagine me in my cassock with a thing floating around?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's been all fun throughout. And he's still here with us here, making fathers out of men. Myself and His Excellency, ex-president, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings is full of humor, full of fun. This is the man we all love to live. We wish you long life. We wish you a happy Father's Day on behalf of your children and especially Her Excellency, Nana. I like the way you call your wife, Nana, and it's good. We want to say thank you because Daddy keep mentioning that you have been the main brain behind the success of the children. We say on your behalf, we want to wish you a happy Father's Day. And on behalf of all your grandchildren, we wish you a happy Father's Day. And we ask for long life for you. We want you to live long for us that we can walk to the place and come and have this interview. Well, yours truly, lovely ones there. I wish you a happy Father's Day. I've been your host, Reverend Counselor Cyril George Castis and Lutterodt. My clothing line was provided by Bodyline Clothing. My shoes are from Mr. Young, exactly where I took His Excellency's own from. God bless all of you for watching. Another Father's Day will come and we'll back into this house again for another wonderful time. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you.